The Deadpool franchise is a cultural phenomenon. While other superhero movies have been found lacking in recent years, these have been wildly successful, even despite being rated R. Globally, the three films have grossed nearly $3 billion, making them the first, fourth, and fifth highest grossing R-rated movies of all time, and the most recent Deadpool and Wolverine is already the 22nd highest grossing film of any film of all time, despite being only 2 months old. And my question is this: is it okay for a Christian to watch them? It's clear that they're popular, but as people who are supposed to be in the world but not of the world, what should our approach to them be? The reason I ask, which you're probably well aware of if you've ever seen the movies, is that their R ratings are well-deserved. There's not just violence, there is frequent, strong, bloody, graphic violence, including decapitations, self-immolation, dismemberment, and yes, the use of a recently dug-up skeleton to kill scores of people. There are not just a few bad words, the language is beyond gratuitous. In the three movies combined, the F word is used 290 times, or about once every minute and 13 seconds. Sex is generally not shown on screen, but it is implied and talked about throughout the series in the most graphic ways possible, and the frequent use and abuse of drugs and alcohol is hard to miss. Like I said, well-deserved R ratings. And yet, despite all of this, which is clearly far from the way that Christians should hope to live, I have to be honest and say that I had a legitimate spiritual experience watching Deadpool and Wolverine. It may sound like a ridiculous thing to claim, especially after all the issues I just mentioned with the movies, but I kid you not. I left the theater a few weeks ago with a tear in my eye and a renewed commitment to faith. I don't want to spoil the ending in case you haven't seen it yet and you decide that you want to one day, but let me just say this. I've been going through some things over the past 1.5 to 4 years. It's been a tough go at times. On more than a few occasions, I found myself really down, questioning the decisions I've made and the decisions made by those around me. For a little while before watching this movie, I'd actually wondered if I had a time machine, as crazy as that sounds, if I could go back and fix the things that happened. My life would be so much better. It wasn't quite as dramatic as Elijah sitting under the tree wishing I had never been born, but I did kind of wish that I could go back and erase the last couple years, that they would have never happened. I could start fresh. But then I see this movie. I see how it ends. I hear that one line, "There's nothing to fix." And something clicks in me. God loses nothing. God loses nothing. No matter what we do, no matter what is done to us, no matter how bleak our situation may seem or how far away from God we may feel, God is able to use it all for our benefit. He's able to take our sins, our tragedies, our struggles and disappointments, all of it, and transform it. While we can only see the situation as it appears in the present moment right in front of us, God can see how these things will challenge us, strengthen us, break us down where we need to be broken down, all to become the person He wants us to be. When I say that I had a tear in my eye, I am not joking. It was in watching this movie that I began to appreciate the struggles, to be thankful for what I've had to go through, because they have made me into the minister and Christian that I am today. Even if I did have a time machine, even if I could go alter the past and prevent all the bad things from happening, I wouldn't. Because why would I go back and erase the grace of God? It may not have appeared that way at the time, but that is exactly what it was, and I see that now. The low moments were not the absence of God. They were simply God working in a hidden way. Now, obviously, as a priest, I knew all of this already. It's not like Deadpool taught me something about God I didn't already know or unlocked some new theological insight that no one had ever thought of. But it was what I needed reminding of in the moment. It was ultimately the thing that broke through. Even if it wasn't new or original, even if it wasn't what the producers had in mind, which I guarantee you was not, it can still be true. God can still speak through it. Despite its flaws, Deadpool and Wolverine contained a spark of truth that renewed my faith. A spark that I desperately needed, and as crazy as this sounds, may not have experienced had I not seen this movie. Too often, I think the Christian view of the world is unfairly negative. There is such an inordinate amount of energy placed on criticizing people for becoming of the world, such an emphasis on protecting people from everything that could possibly lead us astray, that we fail to see the danger in being afraid of the world. We put up such high and impenetrable walls around our souls to keep bad things out, but in doing so we may unintentionally deny the goodness of God's work in the world as well. Isn't the whole point of our religion that God sent His only Son into the world to save the world, not to be its judge? Let's not forget that it was the leper, the prostitute, the foreign woman, and the centurion who were praised by Jesus for their faith, not the Pharisees. In saying this, I am not suggesting that everyone should go out and see Deadpool or that it is some life-altering movie. It's gratuitous violence mixed with middle school humor. That's about it. What I'm saying is that God can and does reveal himself in the messy, broken, impure world in which we live. And so let's not dismiss the world outright. It is important to guard our souls. There are certain things that cannot be unseen, and so if you know that there is something that is a near occasion of sin for you, you should avoid it. Certain movies, certain songs, certain games, certain places are not for everyone, and I know that I must avoid them to stay holy. But just because something is less than perfect, just because it may be secular or of the world, doesn't mean that it is devoid of God. For the Christian, our approach to these things must not be to hide from them at all costs, consuming only that which perfectly reflects the virtue of heaven. We may not be of the world, but we are certainly sent to it, which means we must live in it. We must understand it. We must consume it in a way that doesn't consume us, but in a way that is able to find God even in imperfect places. This is how we evangelize the world, and this is how we are evangelized by the work of God in the world. It is sad to see Christians that give into the values of this world and forget that we are meant to be different. We should absolutely not repeat Deadpool's words or imitate his actions. But to me, what's even sadder than this is to see Christians who don't know God outside the walls of the church, who live in a world teeming with grace, overflowing with opportunities to see God, and dismiss it all as evil. Not everything in this world is good, and so we must be careful of it. But let us not be so careful that we become a frightened, joyless people who fail to see God's presence all around us.